What's up, everybody in the Cadillac world? Just picked up a new 2024 CT5V Blackwing. One thing I noticed, it had some SD slots. One on the dash, one in the glove box, and one in the trunk. I did a little research, found out a few things. A few people had issues, so I'm making a video because I couldn't find a video. So the one on the dash, it's called a PDR, performance data recorder, which records, your track times and everything like that. It takes an SD card, and in the owner's manual, it tells you to begin, it has to be an exFAT formatted SD card, class 10, 16 gigabytes or higher. That's exFAT. 16 gigabytes, class 10 or higher. That's for the PDR on the dash. Now, for the trunk is the SVR, surround vision recorder. It's located in the trunk on the passenger side. It says the SD card needs to at least be 64 gigabytes formatted into FAT32 and a class V30. So 64 gigabytes, FAT32, V30. Now, online, I've seen people say 128, 256, and even 32. Some people could only get a 32 gigabyte to work. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to try all of those sizes and let you see which one I got to work. I got a 32, a 128, 256, and a 512. The 512 I'm not going to use, of course, because that's going to be too big. But so this 32, I'm going to go ahead and insert it in my computer and let you see the format of that. And the 256, I know it won't work in the trunk, but I'm just gonna pull that up, put it in the trunk to show you what error you'll get and everything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on properties, and it's in exFAT, and that won't work in the trunk. So we're gonna install that in both the trunk and the dash and see what error you get, because that shouldn't work. And then once we do that, I'll come back and show you how to format that and everything. So we're gonna head out to the car. Back 2024 CT5V Blackwing. Gonna go ahead and do the SD cards. Like I said, I got a 32 that's not formatted. I got a 128 and a 256 that I'm gonna try in all the slots. Again, you got a slot right here on the dash. You have a slot inside the armrest, which I'm not going to bother with because that's for the maps. And then you have a slot in the trunk, which is for the surround. So, trunk open. Let's get started with these first. I'm going to start with the 32 gigabyte. I'm going to put it in the white Samsung. This one again is not formatted. Put it in, press home, scroll over, PDR, click it, click OK. And you see how it has the red dot? That means that SD card is good. It works in there. 32 gigabytes, give you 340 minutes. I don't know if you remember, for the PDR, it said exFAT. So that one's formatted correctly. Now, gonna take it out, and you see the dot turn gray. That means stop recording. We're gonna try the 128. The 128 is formatted to FAT32. Put it in, come over, you see the dot turn red. So 128 FAT32 works in the PDR as well. 1,000 minutes left. Press it to eject it. The dot turns gray. That means it's disconnected. So the 32 works, exFAT. 128 FAT32 works. Now 256 goes in the scan disk. This one is also FAT32. So come over, install it. Circle turn red. So that means 256 FAT32 also works in the PDR. And it says 1,000 minutes left. So that's a good sign. That's confirming 32 gigabytes, 128 and 256 will work in your dash, your PDR. So you go home, that's the PDR logo, you click that. It has an SD card in there, so it's ready. That means it works. All right, I'm back. Sorry, my GoPro died. We're testing the SD cards. So I just restarted the car. I'm gonna put the 256 back in to see what it says. 256 is inserted. It says no SD card available. Now earlier, it did read it. Now we're gonna try the 128 again. Insert the 128. The red light popped up. 1,000 minutes left. So it's reading the 128, which is in FAT32, and then this is the 32 gigabyte. As you see, it's gray. I'm gonna insert the 32. It read the 32, which is in exFAT. So that 256 that is also in FAT32. It read it earlier, but right now it didn't read it, which I don't know why. So we're gonna try it again, see if it works. Still says no SD card available. Let's see if that's why. Still says no SD card available. I'm gonna check, see if this why. Lock it like the other ones, see if that makes a difference. There you go. So that did make a difference. On your SD cards, up is locked, down is unlocked. So make sure it's locked, because I had it unlocked and it wasn't reading it. Now this is a 1 gigabyte, a BS SD card that I wanted to do. You see it's locked. I just wanted to put it in so you can see what kind of error or what it says. So we insert it, push it in. Oh, and it actually worked. 7 minutes left of recording, which they say class 10 V30. This isn't one of those SD cards. This is an old school SD card. As you can see, it doesn't even have the class or none of that on there. So now what we're gonna do is go to the trunk and start trying the SD cards in the trunk. So I'm gonna press the home button. The trunk, which is the SVR, the surround vision recorder. You press video recorder, dismiss. It says no SD card present. So first I'm gonna start off with the 1 GB SD card. It's not formatted to FAT32, it's exFAT. So I'm gonna go insert this in the trunk and then come back and see what it says. So video player unavailable, but you do see that red dot popped up, so that means it's reading that SD card. But you see it's skipping. It's not pulling up everything. So that 1 GB did work, which is in exFAT. So I'm going to eject that, and then we're gonna try the 32 GB, which is also exFAT. So I inserted the 32 GB, video player unavailable, no SD card present. No red dot, that means you can't record. So that means that 32 GB in exFAT doesn't work, but it needs to be formatted to FAT32. So next we're gonna try the 128. We're gonna try the 128, which is formatted to FAT32, and it should work, no problems. Now it worked, red dot, close it. It pulled up everything. So the 128 GB is already formatted to FAT32. And if you notice, that 1 GB, the first one we tried, it worked, but it didn't pull up all the cameras. This one worked and pulled up the cameras. It has a few recordings saved, so that works, no problem. And again, that's the 128 FAT32. So now we're gonna try the 256, which I know won't work, but just to show, it's also formatted to FAT32. So go ahead and take this 128 out, insert the 256, come around and see. Gray dot, video player unavailable, no SD card present. Let's back out and see if we can pull it up. No. So the 256, of course, is too big for the trunk. The 256 works in the dash, which is the PDR, and in the trunk, 128 is as big as I was able to get formatted to FAT32. So now I'm gonna pause this and then go inside and show you guys how to format your SD card to FAT32 if you have Windows. Apparently Mac does it automatically, but Windows doesn't. So I'm gonna pause this video. I'll be back when I get inside. I'm back. Last and final step. Basically what I'm gonna do is go through and show you all the SD cards that I used and what format they're in. So right now we're gonna get started with the 1 GB. Basically all you do is insert it, go to the drive, select the drive, right click, properties, and you see it's in FAT. So FAT worked in the trunk and in the dash, which isn't bad. So close that out. And then to the next SD card would be the 32 GB. The 32 GB. Insert it. Wait for it to load. And then I'll show you how to format it. So go again and then go to properties, exFAT. So we need FAT32. So basically I'm going to format this one to FAT32, even though it did work. So again, on the drive, you will right click and it says format. If you go to it, it only has, it has FAT32. exFAT and FAT32. Most of the time it won't offer FAT32. That's only because I have a program already on my computer to do so. So what we're going to do is go to Google it, GUI format. Open it up, and this automatically formats to FAT32. Everything will be lost if you do it. Oh, failed to open because it's running somewhere else. Close it. Now try it again. Yes, now it's formatting. And now you see it's been formatted to FAT32. So close it, and then we can open it back up. Click Drive E, right click, click Properties, and now it's in FAT32. So it should work with no problems. But that's the 32 gig. I'm gonna do one more and then end this video. Safe to eject. I'm gonna do the 128 because that's the one that I want to keep in my trunk. And again, I'm just gonna format it so it has some recordings on. So it has some recordings on there already. Right click, properties. It's in FAT32 already. If you right click again, format, exFAT. See, it doesn't offer FAT32 on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that because it'll erase everything. Formatting will erase. Format complete. Now close it, open, right click, property, exFAT, but we want FAT32. So close it, close both, then go back to GUI, click it, yes, you see it says exFAT. We click start, all data will be lost. Now at the top it says FAT32. Now this should be good to go. Click close. If you want to double check and make sure, open your folders again. Click the drive, right click, properties, FAT32, so it's good to go. Again, in this video, sorry it took so long. I'm trying to do everything and record by myself. In this video, I showed you what SD cards to use for your PDR, your SVR, and your Cadillacs, and also how to format it. I'll leave the instructions and the link in the description.